According to Goldman Sachs, and this is their number, not mine, AI has added $160 billion to the US economy since 2022. Sounds massive, right? Here's the problem. The entire US economy is worth $27 trillion. That means after 3 years of the biggest tech investment in human history, AI has moved the needle by 0.7%. So, is AI actually changing the global economy, or is this the most expensive hype story ever told? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's real, what's not, and, more importantly, who is actually winning and losing right now. Let's start with what everyone keeps saying. Goldman Sachs projected AI could add $7 trillion to global GDP over the next decade. McKinsey said that it could generate up to $4.4 trillion every single year. PwC went even further, $15.7 trillion by 2030. These are real numbers from real institutions, and they sound incredible. But here's what those same institutions are saying right now. In 2026, Goldman Sachs' own chief economist, Jan Hatzius, said, and I'm quoting him directly, that AI's impact on GDP in 2025 was basically zero. How do you go from 7 trillion to basically zero? That's not a contradiction. That's actually the most important thing to understand about AI and the economy. The projections are about the future. The reality is about right now. And right now, we're still in what economists call the investment phase, where companies are spending enormous amounts of money building the infrastructure, but the actual productivity gains haven't fully kicked in yet. Think of it like building a highway. While you're constructing it, traffic gets worse. The benefits only come after it's finished. The question is, how long does that take? And who pays the cost while we wait? Now, let's talk about the thing that matters most to most people. Jobs. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, ran a global analysis and found that 40% of all jobs worldwide are meaningfully exposed to AI. In advanced economies like the US, UK, and Germany, that number jumps to 60%. Before you panic, exposed doesn't mean eliminated. It means those jobs are being changed. But here's where it gets complicated. The World Economic Forum projects that by 2030, 92 million jobs will be displaced by AI and automation. At the same time, 170 million new jobs will be created. Net result on paper, a gain of 78 million jobs. Sounds fine, right? But why is this more complicated than it looks? Because those 92 million jobs that disappear, they're mostly entry-level, routine, and concentrated in specific industries and specific countries. And those 170 million new jobs, they require skills that most displaced workers don't have yet. Right now, only 5% of the global workforce is considered AI fluent, and those workers earn on average 56% more than their peers doing the exact same job without AI skills. So the real story isn't AI is killing jobs. The real story is AI is splitting the workforce in two, those who can work with it and those who can't yet. So here's where we are. AI hasn't moved global GDP much yet, but it's already reshaping who gets hired, who gets paid more, and which industries are feeling the pressure first. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention. Which countries are winning this race, and which ones are being left behind? Here's a fact that almost nobody is talking about. AI is not disrupting the world equally. Advanced economies, the US, Western Europe, Japan, have 60% of their jobs exposed to AI. That sounds scary, but they also have the capital, the infrastructure, and the education systems to adapt. Low-income countries, only 26% exposure. But here's the thing, that lower exposure isn't protection, it's exclusion. These countries aren't being disrupted because they're not connected to the AI economy at all. And here's the geopolitical layer that makes this even more interesting. The US and China are in a full-scale race for AI dominance. The US has the software, the models, the frontier companies. China has the manufacturing, the data, and the scale. Meanwhile, Europe has introduced the most comprehensive AI regulation in the world, the EU AI Act. Some say it will protect citizens, others say it will simply slow Europe down. The outcome of that race won't just determine which country leads in tech. It will determine which currency, which supply chains, and which economic model dominates the next 30 years. We'll cover that in a dedicated episode, but for now, let's look at what's actually happening inside industries. Let's be very concrete, because the abstract AI will change everything gets old fast. Finance. Banks are already using AI for fraud detection, credit scoring, and compliance. JP Morgan reportedly saved $1.5 billion in annual costs through AI automation. The jobs most at risk? Back office processing, some analyst roles, customer service, manufacturing. Oxford Economics projects 20 million manufacturing jobs replaced globally by robots and AI by 2030. This isn't coming, it's already happening. The question isn't if, it's how fast and which countries absorb the shock. Entry-level white-collar work. This is the one nobody expected. Since January 2024, global entry-level job postings have fallen 29% as routine cognitive tasks get automated. First-year lawyers, junior analysts, customer support, these roles are quietly shrinking. And then there's the category that's actually growing fast. AI native jobs, data specialists, AI trainers, prompt engineers, AI auditors are growing at 80 to 140% annually. Median pay for AI-specific roles hit $157,000 in early 2025. The economy isn't shrinking, it's bifurcating. High skill, high pay, AI-enabled work on one side, displaced, transitioning, uncertain work on the other. So, what's the real takeaway here? AI is not the economic miracle that the hype machine promised. Not yet. But it's also not a catastrophe. Not yet. What it is, right now, is a massive transfer of productivity from workers to companies, of wealth from low-skill labor to high-skill labor, of economic power from countries that can't adapt fast enough to countries that can. The companies spending $700 billion on AI infrastructure in 2026 are making a bet. The bet is that the productivity explosion is coming, and that whoever builds the infrastructure first will own the gains. Whether that bet pays off, and whether ordinary workers share in those gains or get left behind, that's the real economic question of our time. And it's not going to be answered by the technology itself. It's going to be answered by policy, education, and political choices that most governments aren't even having yet. If you want to understand where this is going, the next episode covers how AI is specifically reshaping global trade and what that means for supply chains, emerging markets, and the balance of economic power. If you found this useful, subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel grow. And drop a comment. I want to know, do you think AI's productivity gains will actually reach regular workers, or will it stay concentrated at the top? See you next one.